Hey guys, Casual Retro Gamer here, where today I want to talk about plug and play TV consoles. Aimed at the budget end of the gaming world, plug and play consoles are the type of thing, well, most of us gamers would probably dread to see come Christmas or birthday. The type of thing you might expect a grandparent to buy for their grandchild. You know, the kid who really loves his PS4 and, well, just happens to be a Fantastic Four or even a Star Wars fan. The other end of the spectrum then is the gamer of yesteryear who might be tempted by the likes of this Namco unit. This thing has games on it such as Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaxian, Rally X and Busconian. Something to let them relive their gaming past, maybe even show it off to a younger family member. In fact, the gentleman I bought this very unit from had purchased this thing some years ago to share with his son, who just happens to be that aforementioned PS4 gamer. I wonder why this was put up for sale. Now, the franchise type units, such as these things, well, the games on them, let's be honest, they're squarely aimed at children. Quite poor looking 16-bit type games, very simple level design, very simple play mechanics. They're not really much use for more than 15-20 minute gaming session. The Namco unit itself is great, but the games on it are perhaps maybe just a little too old to entice a younger audience. Don't get me wrong, they're fairly arcade perfect, just they are getting on in years now. This plug and play console though, this one did catch my eye. Notice the name on the front of it? Capcom. That's right, one eyebrow raised, I thought so. But what games do we get on here? Well, how does 1942, Commando and Ghosts and Goblins sound? Three absolute classics of the gaming world presented on one plug and play handheld. Before we get into those games though, let's take a closer look at this thing itself. The first obvious thing to note is the location of the buttons. They're on the left. In fact, it's the same on all these units. The buttons are presented on the left. Quite an odd decision, I would say, considering these are obviously based on an arcade layout where the buttons would be on the right. In fact, every joypad ever, the buttons are on the right. But in saying that, it is comfortable in the hand. It's light enough and ergonomic enough to hold with a single hand. You can access the buttons easily with your thumb and the joystick with the other hand. My only gripes would probably be the joystick itself is a little small. I would like to see it perhaps a little taller, maybe a slightly bigger ball, and definitely with a longer throw. The buttons, I suspect, are just a rubber dome type affair, not the clicky type thing we might be used to from the arcades. The front of the console features a simple on-off switch, a menu switch which exits the game, take you back to the game selection menu, and the front of the device has a game key slot. Underneath, we take our 4 AA batteries, but we'll get into that later. The game key slot itself is on this Capcom unit and on this Fantastic Four unit. And the idea of that was for you to buy additional cartridges, or game keys as they're called, to access additional games. This unit itself, when it was announced, was also said to have Mega Man, Gunsmoke and Sidearms on it. It doesn't, it only has the 3 games, 1942, Commando and Ghosts and Goblins. So I can only assume those other games were going to follow later on Game Key. Unfortunately, the Game Key thing died out in 2006, around the time when this unit came out, so those games were never released. One question I would maybe like to ask though, is given the cheap nature of these things, are the games on the ROM in here, or would they have been on the cartridge? My suspicion is, given how cheap these are, that the games would probably all be preloaded in here, and that the game key would simply access it on the ROM. I mean, the idea of these game keys was to sell them for a couple of pounds. So you can imagine how cheaply them themselves would have to be made. The hardware itself in here, I suspect, is nothing more than a simple system on a chip deal. But sure, let's take a couple of minutes here and crack this thing open quickly and see what we have. So here we are, guys, let's get into this thing. We'll start by removing the battery cover, and we'll take out the 4 AA batteries. The unit itself then is held together with 5 screws. Let's get these out quickly. I've already loosened these a wee bit. Right, let's see if I can get the lid off. There we are. So, as suspected, the buttons are indeed just your rubber cap type things. The joypad appears to be the same. Yep, the joypad is the same affair. Or the joystick, should I say, is the same affair. There's just rubber pads in there under each of these for the 4 directions. The system board itself is held in place by 4 screws. Let's take those out quickly. Oh. There we are. And that should let us access. It's well on there. It's probably being held in place by the battery compartment. Yeah, it's being held in place by this. I'll have to take this off as well. Right, there we are, got it out. So as suspected, it's just your typical system on a chip affair. Just your 2 blobs there as your 2 chips. I would imagine probably a ROM and the main system on the chip. Fairly basic, but well, we didn't really expect much else. There's the game key slot, the cartridge slot. It does look to be, if that is the ROM, it does look to be directly connected to that. But also has plenty of pins going straight to the chip itself, so well, we'll never know which way that's wired up inside, but anyway, that's it. Fairly straightforward inside, not much to see. I didn't expect it would be, but I thought I'd just take it apart and let you see what we have. I'll put this back together here quickly and then I'll show you the games. Well, there we are, guys, that's it back together. Light still turns on, so that's a good sign. Let's take a quick look at the games now. Well, here we are, guys, Capcom plug and play console. Power on. Plug it in and play TV games. Jack Specific Incorporated, developed by HotGen Limited in London. Games copyright 2005 to Capcom. And here's the main menu, 1942. Commando, and Ghosts and Goblins. I think everyone should be pretty familiar with these games, so we'll just take a quick look into each, see how they play. And select normal or easy, and 1 or 2 players. I'm assuming, considering this is just one of these things, that the 2 players just take turns. Start with a loop-a-loop. So A fires, joystick move about. There's no rapid fire on the console, which is maybe a wee bit lacking, but I suppose it's just trying to be more arcade perfect like that. Or you would just hammer the fire button in the arcade. Controls are tight, very responsive, no issues there. The only thing I'd maybe say, given the small size of the Wii console and the small buttons, my thumb is starting to hurt already from hitting this. I just missed a power up. Oh, sorry, there is a rapid fire. That's rapid fire there. Not exactly ideal. Let me see if I just set the unit on the table here. Maybe try and play it more rather than holding it. Yeah, that works a lot better. The only thing then, I wonder, is this missing a foot or something? The machine rattles about on the tabletop. Yes, I'm missing a wee foot there. It's causing that issue. The other controls in the game, we can press B to do our loop-loop. Notice when you do that, the sound effects drop out. I wonder, is that a limit of the arcade original, or perhaps a limit of this port? I can't remember. Maybe if someone knows, you drop it into the comment section below. So yeah, gameplay is perfectly fine. Excellent gameplay, as you would expect. 1942 classic game. Let's see if we can just finish this level quick. Probably nearly over, isn't it? Huh, what a way to finish the level. Well, anyway, that's 1942. So let's press our menu button. We can choose to continue, or we can quit. Back to the main menu. So next game on the list, Commando. Again, we can pick between easy or normal. I'll just take easy to show you the game quickly. 1 or 2 players again, just the 1 player. Oh, you have to love the music in this game. So classic. Oh, damn it. Not a good start. Right. So as I was just trying to say, the key thing in this game is to keep moving. Biggest mistake people maybe make in this game is to try and fight your way through all the enemies. That's not the way to play this one. You have to keep moving. If you stand still for any length of time, you will get swamped. I'm gonna risk this guy. Yes. Totally ignore that. Trying to get through this here. You can easily get stuck underneath that bridge. So aggravating. I know it is like a run and gun game, but it does play almost like you shoot 'em up. You gotta try and avoid the shots. 1 shot kill. Gotta love that music in the game. It's so classic for retro gaming. Puts a big smile on my face. There we are. Broke the first area and I rushed to the second. Well, that's Commando. Pretty faithful arcade port, if not exactly arcade perfect. The only thing maybe be the sound effects, are they slightly off? I'm not 100% sure. I'm listening to this on wee tiny speakers at the moment. As input our name, casual, retro, gamer. Oh here, what happens there? It's messed up the input, oh well. And that's a nice wee feature, saves or high scores. Right, menu, that's quit. So the other game to show you just quickly, Ghosts and Goblins. One play. Right. Right, Arthur, get your suit on. Let's go. Another game probably really well known for its music. I tell you what, it says something about a game, how good the music is when they don't really change it between the original and the sequel. Paying attention. Definitely not paying attention. I'm actually starting to wonder why there's a C button on this wee console, because in all three games the C button does nothing. Maybe it was intended for one of the other games that was never actually released. Did any of those games use 3-button controls? I'm not so sure, to be honest. Maybe it's just a standard PCB layout they have. 3-button control. That's one thing Arthur can't shoot up. That's a big good test for the controls, see if we can jump on this thing. But I do have to say, the controls seem very responsive, there's no lag or anything on it, you know, so. Gameplay is fine. Apart from when you jump straight into them. I always struggle to get past these things. Oh, they can shoot down, and I can't shoot up. Very fair. Oh well. Well, that's pretty much all I have to show you. Everyone that should be familiar with these games anyway. 3 fairly accurate arcade ports, if I do say so myself, and one very nice plug and play console. I'd highly recommend trying to pick this wee unit up if you can. It does seem to be quite rare now. The Namco one or the other Star Wars ones and all seem to be more popular than this, but they are out there to find. This wee unit itself cost me just 15 quid, so definitely worth it, for me anyway. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching Casual Retro Gamer, and I'll see you next time.